Hi, and welcome back to Rain or Shine Gardening. I'm Katie. I am here in Hardiness Zone 8B in the Portland area, and I am so excited because today is the first day of a new project. And does that mean that I have all the other projects crossed off my list? Absolutely no, because that's not how we do it. We get excited for the next project and start it maybe before we're ready to start it, but it happens anyway because that's real life. And that's what I'm motivated to work on. So I am really excited to use this for the first time. This is an inverted spray paint. So that means it is time to measure out some new garden beds and expand the ones that I have. So in my front yard, I have been working on putting in an angled brick border around my garden beds, and I did not finish it. I started it 2 years ago with some vertical bricks, and I found out those really didn't lock in together and they weren't sturdy, and a lot of them fell over. And I've been wanting to redo all of them. I got some of them redone in my front garden bed. I'll show you some videos here of what that looks like. I really like them diagonal. So the reason I like having a border in my front garden, well, in any area where I have grass, is because it makes it so much easier to weed eat up to when you're mowing the lawn. You can just do kind of a trench border, but my experience has been that it's kind of remained difficult to keep the grass out, and the grass spreads so quickly. So I like having the brick border, and I like having them diagonal because they're a lot stronger and they stay put better, and that works better all over. But I did not finish them. But the reason I didn't finish my border is because I actually want to change some of the boundaries of them. So when I first started creating my garden beds in my front yard, I kind of created them based on where the grass already was. I didn't really do it with the grass negative space in mind. Since then, I've seen some people put in some really pretty pathways, um, like Robbie over at Visit Our Garden. The way that he measured out his grass pathways, and he's redoing his garden as well, just really inspired me. But I think what I'm going to do is do more consistent measurements for a pathway of grass in my front garden, which is going to expand my planting garden beds, which is always good because sometimes you run out of space to plant into. So before I spend all the time putting the brick in the patterns and digging out the trench to put the bricks into and all of that, I decided to work on drawing out some lines, some ideas of where I want my new garden bed to be. So I have a couple tools with me today. One is my tape measure, and I measured where kind of my narrowest pathway is right now of grass, and it's a little under 4 feet. But I think what I want to do is not have my pathways any smaller than 4 feet for grass. And I want to kind of create some soft, rounded edges to match some of the areas in my front lawn already. So with that in mind, what I did was I found this piece of wood, and it measures exactly 4 feet. So this is going to be helpful because what I'll be able to do is kind of manipulate this around as I'm drawing my edges to make sure that my pathway, my borders, my grass pathway that I'm making is 4 feet exactly. So I can use my tape measure, but I found that this board and using this is a lot easier because it's easier to move, easier to kick along with my foot while I'm spray painting. So I have not used this inverted marking paint before. This is the first time that I'm using this, so we'll see how that goes. But right now, I think what I'm going to do is create kind of a softer outer boundary border, and then I'm going to measure the 4 feet off of that. But I'm going to take you along with me, and you can kind of see what I end up doing because I'm not certain how this is all going to end up visually until I get in there and start making some marks. So our lawn, we don't water it in the summer. We don't have a sprinkler system for the grass, and we don't like to waste the water to water the grass. because of that, we don't put a lot of effort and maintenance into our grass. We have a lot of moss, we have a lot of dandelions, and we have a lot of clover. But what that means too is that it is a really nice place for all of our pollinators. So I know that some people are planting clover lawns right now, and we just so happen to have some invasive clover, and it's by accident that we attract all the pollinators to ours. So we're going to leave it like that. I don't think we're going to put too much effort into, I don't know, sometimes I pull out the dandelions or try to, but they come back with a vengeance. So usually I put my time and effort and energy into planting things instead of pulling dandelions from my lawn. But today that's the project we're going to start, is outlining some new garden beds in the front and to try to get that brick border done. So I will take you along with me for that. Today I think I'm just marking out what those new garden beds will be, and then in a future video I'll show you what we're going to do to create the beds. So we're actually going to use a half moon edger to create kind of a trench, and then we're going to use a cardboard and mulch system to create the beds. No dig, no till. We're not removing sod. We're just putting that over top to create the new beds. So I'll take you along for that when we get to it. But today is exciting because we're going to mark out where those are going to be. So we'll see. If I don't like it, I'll mow it next week and then start over. Okay, you can see my yellow lines I have painted now, and they start down here. So before, the garden bed used to go all the way over under that dying tree, and then it kind of sharply came back out and sharply went back in and back out. So that was really hard to weed eat and mow and keep the grass out of these garden beds. So now you can see my yellow line. It kind of has a more soft, gradual swoop up this way. So I've got my dwarf cherry, Bing cherry tree here, and then I've got a bigger Rainier cherry there. And my fruit salad tree, which I mentioned on a previous video, I'm probably going to be taking out. It is diseased. Half of it has died out and it's leaning. So it's just not doing well, and it would take a lot to try to recover that tree and save it. So you can see these garden beds are really needing some TLC, but I've been waiting because I knew that I was going to do this project. Now you can see this yellow border kind of comes across here in a more gentle swoop. So that's going to be easier to have the border and to weed eat and mow, but it's going to give me all this additional planting space, which is really awesome. So more plants. What I do plan to do, because I've got these trees here, I do plan to replace this with something else. If you have any suggestions, make sure to let me know what you think would be a good tree. But what I'm wanting to do is kind of make a tree canopy here. So I used to have this little tiny wood slat pathway to walk through, kind of like a bridge style. But I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to put a walkway that connects through here because I like having this little island with the bird bath and a tree over here. It kind of creates some more interest, but I might actually move the other tree out a little further when we end up planting. But you see how much this expands this garden bed. So walking up this way, these bricks still need to be replaced as well. This is some of my anniversary rose garden. So you can see now this comes out this way. And this is, I tried to erase some of the mistakes I made with the weed eater, but you can still see the yellow in the grass, but it follow the inner line there. This is 4 feet across. So now my pathways are going to be consistently 4 feet following the yellow line. So this will extend out. Right now I've got some dahlias in here. I have some tulips that I need to cut back and kind of take care of, some alliums that came back, but I've really been neglecting this bed because I do know that I need to redo the border on it. So, oh, this is so exciting. I was teasing with my girls and telling them I was making the yellow brick road. So maybe we won't end up making it golden. But following the pathway this way, I kind of contemplated having this come out and creating more of a triangle here, but I do like the look of the round. So I'm not sure. I might end up changing that. But this corner is more of a gentle swoop now too, instead of it going in so sharp. So it'll be easier to mow and take care of. And then visually to the eye, having these consistent size grass pathways are going to be really nice. And you'll see that this middle area with my snowball has now expanded to be more of an oval shape. So that is going to be more planting space as well. So in walking around, I'll take you for a walk around the whole thing so you can see what it's turned into. But this will be the new pathway. So the bricks will expand out here now. These bricks all need to be redone too. One other thing that I already purchased for this area is an archway that I'm going to put across right here where this widens because I want to attract people back to kind of this secret garden area with the tree and the fountain and everything back in here. So there'll be a pathway that goes this way with a really pretty Gothic archway. And then I'll have to figure out what I want to climb on it. Might do some roses or something else. And then there'll be an entrance here. And I don't know yet if I'm going to put archways on both of those sides too. But that's what I have. Exciting new plans. My paint can is almost empty, so that's all for my marking in the front yard for my new pathways and my new garden beds. I'm really excited to get this project started. Hopefully, by painting bright yellow lines in my lawn, it's inspiration for me to come out and continue this project until it's done. I don't know, I'm pretty excited for it anyway. So, our next video will show some information about how we're going to now dig out those borders and how we're going to put cardboard down. We need to go source some additional cardboard so that we have enough. I don't think I realized how much extra garden bed we're going to get, but it's quite a bit. So I want to make sure I have enough cardboard before we start that project. But I'm really excited for the next phase of getting these garden beds dug out, getting the border in, getting some compost in over that cardboard so that we can get more wonderful things planted. Rain or shine, we are out here starting new garden projects when maybe we should be finishing them, but don't tell anybody or do it too. I don't care. See you in the next one. Bye.